Hey guys, it's Katie Weaver, the Domestic Mystic here, and I'm getting ready to go out on a space clearing. And I had my kit laid out of all of my materials and supplies, and I thought it might be fun to give you guys a peek at what my space clearing kit looks like and what I use and why. So a space clearing means that someone is experiencing some kind of spiritual or perhaps a paranormal disturbance in their home. And they've called me and in this case my sister Christy as well to come out to their house to clear the energy and bless it and see if we can get a bead on what's going on. So in a pre-clearing interview with this particular home, we know that there is a lot of discord. We know that the people who live there are struggling profoundly in their relationship. We know that the children are really struggling to sleep, and we have some babies that are waking up in the night acting terrified. So we know there's some kind of energetic disturbance going on in the house that isn't quite right. Sounds like everybody there just is feeling unsettled, ungrounded, all good reasons for us to go and take a look. So I just thought I would give you a fun look at my kit and all of the things that we use. So let's go ahead and take a look. So here on the table, you'll see all of my stuff, all of my tools. That's my kit itself. I've had this kit for, oh my God, probably 10 years. And it's just it's a perfect little case, you know, to be able to put my materials in and keep them in it so that they're always ready if I need to go. So a few things. First of all, you're going to see my singing bowl here. This is, it's actually a crown chakra bowl, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not using it for chakras at this rate. I'm using it for frequency. So in space clearing, it's really helpful to use some kind of a vibrational tool to break up any heavier stuck energy. So in a space clearing with us, we always go, the first person that goes through takes a singing bowl through and chimes it many times through every room of the house. And in places that you may not realize energy gets really hung up and stuck, like maybe behind the TV, under the bed, in the utility rooms, places like that. So that's why we use the singing bowl. And then, of course, we go through with our sage. That's the smudge, right? So two parts of that. You'll see my jar here. This is of white sage from California. I have a dear client there who actually harvests it from her land every year and sends me a big box. And then I dry it and use it throughout the year. So it is loose. I also have chosen for this family this sage bundle that I wrapped in the fall that has some plant magic properties. So you'll see the rose petals. If you flip it over on the back here, you'll see that there's some basil that's been wrapped into that. And then of course this is desert sage. So this bundle I am using for this family because we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can to encourage love and loving behaviors and to help strengthen the relationships in the home. That's where the rose comes in. And then of course the basil here, the reason that there's basil in this application is because basil is another purifying herb. It's another herb that is used to clear space and purify. And so we're combining it with the magic of the sage to kind of give this house a double whammy. So that's what this bundle is about. So I will actually burn both in their house. These little hand-wrapped ones that are the desert sage, they are really light and dry. This will burn in a flash. But our white sage, it smolders and takes a lot longer to burn. So we're going to combine both of them to be able to really clear away any stagnant energy, any angry, frustrated energy that's built up in this home. And then of course we'll be doing some energy work and some psychic work to deal with any other energies that aren't supposed to be there. It sounds like maybe they actually have a dark entity or something like that here. So those are, you know, we'll be using our own psychic tools as well as just tools. And then of course this is a feather used for space clearing. This one is made by Fluorescent Ranch. They make absolutely phenomenal space clearing tools, all kinds of sacred tools. So this is a turkey feather with pheasant feathers, and it's wrapped in copper with a clear quartz, and the clear quartz pointing down to help direct the energy from your hand. So it's a very cool clearing device. All right, some other things that I like to use. Now, normally you'd see here an abalone shell. We'll burn all of our sage in an abalone shell. This domestic mystic lost her abalone shell. I actually left it at a client's house. And so my partner today is actually bringing an abalone shell for us to use. So I don't have one to show you. But normally I do burn my smudge in an abalone shell, and we will. So a couple other things I think of interest. We always light a black candle and a white candle before we get started. Why? Because the black candle helps to transmute any stuck energy in the home and transmute it into light. And then, of course, the white candle helps to invite back the energies that you want. So we'll bless it through some candle magic. We'll bless it with what we'd like it to do in the home. And then, of course, we'll burn it while we're there. Dragon's blood incense here. We don't always use it. It really depends on what the house feels like and what the homeowner says. Because this house feels like it needs some pretty significant work, we'll go ahead and burn it. Dragon's blood does a good job of helping to transmute really subtle energies of jealousy, anger, frustration that you may not pick up on initially, but are kind of lingering in the space. So we'll light a stick of dragon's blood when we light the candles and get started. All right. Now, a few extra tools that are always in my kit. Well, obviously matches, right? Without matches, what have you. Rose water. This is rose water. You can get rose water in a couple of different ways. You can purchase rose hydrocil, which is a really great way to do it. You can also just make your own in a couple of ways. You can soak rose petals in water and boiling water and like steep them into a tea. That is sufficient. Or you can use water, just pure water, filtered water with rose essential oil and a little vodka. And that's what this is. That's our rose oil or rose water of choice. That gets sprayed all the way through the home after you've done the singing bowl, you've done the smudge, then you go through with the rose water. Rose water or rose oil is the highest vibrating oil. It's associated with the angels. And we always spray it through every home to invite happy and higher vibrating energies back into the home when we're done clearing. Okay, now I want to tell you about the salt and the crystals. This is always a fun part, I think. So depending on what's happening, sometimes we feel like we need to make a grid, not clear per se, but build a grid around the property. Perhaps they are struggling with someone who keeps coming there that shouldn't be there. Maybe there's a restraining order. Maybe they are having a feud with neighbors. You know, maybe there's something happening here that the people in the home aren't feeling safe. That's when we'd want to create a grid around the property. And so we would take our sea salt and clear quartz and obsidian. We would walk their property and put a handful of sea salt and one clear quartz and one obsidian in all four corners of their property. And then I would take an additional larger clear quartz and obsidian and take it in the house and put it right in the center of the home in a place where it wouldn't be moved or disturbed, maybe up in a closet or on a shelf or something like that. And then we would do the energetic work to connect all of those crystals along with the sea salt to create a protective grid around the space. So that's why it's always in my kit. I don't use it every time. It depends on the home and on the situation and what they need, because of course everything is different. But that's why it's there. And then lastly, a pendulum. So that's just a little red jasper pendulum. There's nothing super exciting about it, except for that this little guy has ridden around in my kit for a gazillion years. And we use it when you think you're done. Once you've cleared the whole house and you think you're done, you stop and you pull your pendulum out and you stand in the center of the home and you ask, if the home's completely clear. And if you know how to use a pendulum, then you know what I'm talking about, but you ask, the pendulum's going to tell you. If it's not clear, then you go back room by room and ask, you know, where the issue still is. And then you go back to that space and you do your work again. And you keep working with the pendulum until every space reports clear. Sometimes in your initial work, every space will report clear. Sometimes they don't. I will tell you that some of the biggest culprits are utility rooms and beds. Beds need a great amount of clearing with the singing bowl, with the smudge, and sometimes some psychic work as well, because beds take on a ton of energy. Once all of this is done, and we've used every single tool in our kit here, and we're ready, then we'll join together with the people who live there in a blessing ceremony together to bless their home, and let them speak aloud all of the things that they'd like their home to now imbue. You know, things like cooperation and unconditional love and peace and joy and fun and laughter and happiness, and the list goes on and on. But that's how the work starts and ends. So that's just a little peek into space clearing for you guys today. I have got to pack up my kit now and get out the door and get to this home and see what I can do to help them out. So have a great day, guys, and thanks for being here. Be sure to subscribe to The Domestic Mystic for more videos and fun in the metaphysical and spiritual world. Take care.